This is your Module 7 overview. This is it, the final presentation. You're going to put everything that you've learned all semester into this last presentation. So everything that we've been working towards, all your assignments, finding all of your research articles, now you get to talk about them in your presentation. So instead of doing a final paper, you're putting all of your final thoughts into this presentation. So you're evaluating all of your research papers, you're putting it together with your own voice, you're interpreting and synthesizing your research, and you're analyzing the strength and comparing and contrasting your final 6 articles. So this is just a review of the materials that you also should have reviewed in the previous module. So just a reminder of the assignment itself, so make sure you look at that, including the grading rubric for that. Note that we're not going to be using any personal pronouns throughout the presentation. So you're going to consider this just like you would a paper. So no, I think that you should go on the Mediterranean diet, none of that. It's all no primary, no personal pronouns. And then we're never proving anything in our research either. Just because we reviewed 6 studies doesn't mean that we've proven the answer to our research question. So review the video of the explanation if you did not last module, and then make sure that you take a look at what a presentation could look like if you're recording a voiceover, and just to see what the slides look like even if you're not. So there are 2 options. So you can either submit your final presentation with a voiceover, and we're going to have you record that voiceover using VoiceThread. So if you haven't used VoiceThread, you can look at the tutorial here using the link. When I use VoiceThread, I will typically make my slides, like I said here, in PowerPoint, and then when I'm done with them, just the slides, then I will click this little Add Your Own, and that's where I will upload my slides, and then I do my actual recording within VoiceThread. And you can record one slide at a time. Then instead of just clicking next, 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 because that way, if you do make a mistake, you can just re-record that one slide and not the entire presentation. So if you do the voiceover, and the voiceover is worth 15 points out of the 95 points of the entire assignment, you will only submit the assignment here. And then with that, so I'll review all the presentations that I see within VoiceThread, and then I'll go into the gradebook and put in your grade. So VoiceThread doesn't link totally to the gradebook, so you won't be able to see that you submitted anything in the gradebook. But just know that if you see it on this screen, you should be able to see everyone's in the class. So be sure that you click to not make it private, because I need to be able to see it. And then just know that if it's here, then I will be able to see it, and then I can put the grade in the gradebook. If you choose to not do a voiceover and just submit the slides by themselves, then you will submit your final slides here. So you can either submit them in PowerPoint form, or you can give me a link to your Google Slides. Either way is fine. If you link me to your Google Slides, please make sure that I have access to them and I don't have to request access. And you don't need to submit any of your articles anymore. We already hopefully looked at all of them in our previous research assignments. So please be sure that you look at your research check-in before you move on to the presentation. And then also review the grading rubric. So 30 points for the interpretation of the research, 20 points for you kind of making your conclusion on it, which is also your thesis statement. 10 points for citations throughout the presentation as well as at the end. Grammar and spelling and no personal pronouns for the integrity of the writing. The voiceover, if you chose to do that, again, if you're submitting in this spot, you would not have a voiceover, so that would be 0 points for that part. And then 10 points for visuals, so just that you tried to make it visually appealing, that there were some pictures that made sense. The last item is an extra credit final exam. So the final exam is cumulative. It's just things that we've been studying all semester. So I might have you look up an article in the library to test your article finding skills. It'll just be, it's not really anything that you can study for. It's just things that we've been working on the entire semester. So there are 30 minutes and there's just 10 questions, 1 attempt. So once you start, you must continue. Each question is worth 1 point extra credit. Once you start it, the timer starts, 1 chance, and then each question gets locked as you answer it, so you cannot go backwards. You'll be able to see in the grade book what your final score is, and originally it'll say it's out of 10 points, and then I go back in and make it pure extra credit points. So that's the only way to set it up within Canvas, so don't freak out that those points are being added to your total grade. It'll first look like it's 10 out of 10, but then I'll fix it and it'll be like 10 out of 0. So up to 10 points extra credit, just as a nice way to kind of end the semester. And that is it.